Alrighty guys, we have listened to those cicadas chirping for long enough. Hope everybody is having a great day today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh gosh, I forgot to do something. I'm trying to do it. There we go. That's all set. Alrighty, so who is ready to continue the story? Hope everybody is doing well today. So this is our VTube VN Friday. Let's see. I'm trying to just think of stuff. So we've got a reminder for you guys. We've got the goal for visual novel for July up. That's already at what, like, it's already at 6,000 of the 25,000 point goal. I might need to bump up those totals, honestly. You guys are insane with how quickly you hit them. So I'll have to think about it and see about tweaking and go off of feedback within the Discord about increasing it. But honestly, I sincerely thank all of you guys for hitting that the VTube goal for July last night. Why don't we continue on with our story here? We just finished chapter 6. Yeah, so it seems we're doing about 3 chapters per session, which I think honestly that's a pretty good pace. So why don't we just jump right into the story here? Wow, it's Keiichi-kun! Good morning, good morning! Reina was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. What do you mean, good morning? It's already evening. Just say hello or something. But this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right. I got it. Okay then, good morning it is. Good morning, Reina. I grabbed Reina's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. Hey, Kei-chan! Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you. No, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up for the festival yesterday? How was it, Keiichi-kun? Did you do your job properly? A slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out now, though. I grinned dryly, and the three of us break out into laughter. Where's Satoko and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yep. Rika-chan's actually been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Satoko-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah! As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier too. I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. Keiichi-kun, you're going too fast. Wait for me. Man, Kei-chan, you're such a little kid. Whoa! The shrine grounds, they were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing! They're coming from Hinamizawa. Huh? The veteran old man from the Kimiyoshi branch family is here too. I think that old guy went home from the Watanagashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today. Oh, it's Satoko-chan! Hey! Oh, if it isn't everyone. Yes, hello to you all! Yo, Satoko. There's a lot of people today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? Who do you even think you're talking to? Satoko, too, seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Huh? Where's Rika-chan? She still has free time, doesn't she? Rika was giving her respects to the mayor and other important people. She shall come before long. I see. Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festival after all. I totally forgot about something. I gotta turn that off. There we go. Okay. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. It really is a pain. Hello, everyone. How? Rika-chan! I want to take you home. Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was the perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It really is comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. It's great! It's great! It's so cute! How? There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move. Keiichi-kun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine. I'll take her home with me. I think she's really cute. Totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be her big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take a Jesus. If we take a picture from two different places and make it stereoscopic, we can eat, or rather stare at, a real-life Rika-chan at our houses whenever we want. Oh, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Reina's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our noses bled and we drooled. Rika, you'd best stay away from them. Yes, or I might get locked away in a basement somewhere. You look like you're enjoying it though, Rika-chan. Me, you're being harsh. We all laugh together again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's get to the festival. There's not much time left until Rika-chan's big debut. You're right. Great, let's go everyone. Yeah! Yo! If it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki, eat up! The yakisoba is packed full of pork. This year we filled it up as much as we could. We even put in fried calamari. Gotcha, old timer. The yakisoba this year looks like quite an achievement. You have squid too. You put a ton of time into this, didn't you? Wow, it's tasty, it's tasty. Yeah, the squid is delicious, but the aroma is just fantastic. It wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be. There's a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Yeah, not bad at all, I'd say. Hey Leo, congrats on the first. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for an additional 2,000 to the VN Friday for July. Haha! Kei-chan, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become the host. Yeah, when I see Keiji-kun acting like it's so good, it somehow tastes even better. I don't discriminate among delicious food, so anything that I say is tasty has got to be worth trying out, right? Then, Keiichi, please give us your opinion on this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious! If I had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand. Wow, that's amazing! Kei-chan said it was so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Mm-hmm. Oh, is that so? And perhaps I shall try it out. Mister, can I perchance bother you for one takoyaki? Satoko bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus, from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them into her mouth. How is it, Satoko-chan? If you give it a good rating, then Reina will buy it too. Chomp, chomp, chew, chew. Oh. Now it's time for the Hinamizawa Michelin Judge Satoko Hojo to give her impressions. Oh. Wait, was that Reina maybe? Yeah, because now she's okay. Yeah, this is the hardest thing with reading this, is you don't know what character is which sometimes. Though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it into their mouths. Reina got chips. Mine's bad too. There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus free takoyaki stand? I'd actually be okay with that. I'd be perfectly fine with that. If it comes from the sea, it ain't for me. So, you know, any any kind of fish, like even it's weird. Even like seaweed wrap and like I've tried veggie sushi before, where it's literally like just filled with carrot or cucumber in the center of rice. But the seaweed wrap that goes in it, it's so gross to me. An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because I figured it would make them good money today. Ha! Minus some. Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain that this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy. And even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. Exactly! See? I'm with Reina on this. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. Rip. It had the exact opposite effect. Alright then, I'll give it a try next. A self-inspired take on takoyaki, in which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of the flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. It wasn't half bad, but after hearing the "there's no octopus in it" clause, even more people left the line. Rip to that takoyaki stand. Rika-chan, any good comments? You can be honest. 400 yen is too much for this. Yeah, that was too honest. Even more customers leave the line, dealing a lethal blow. There are other takoyaki stands around, after all. Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this. Hey, Satoko, you started all this, so give us a great big turnaround. I cannot do it. How do you expect me to lavish praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? Yeah, you idiot! Satoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow. Customers are all gone. The guy's staring at us. Why is that? Why is that? Oh. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maebrow-sama, will lend a generous hand.
Keiichi-kun, you could do it. We want you to save the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in.
Don't smile as you say something so bitter. Alright, fine. This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro at work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick into an octopusless takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it. But Mion's had some in it. That was the important point. The man who runs this takoyaki stand, he truly loves takoyaki in every meaning of the word. No, it could even be said that he adores it. Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us. This man truly does love takoyaki, and because he loves it, he doesn't want to create half-hearted random ones. Isn't that right? The takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserves such a high rating.
Keiichi-san, if you really and truly love takoyaki that much, why didn't you make takoyaki with the octopus at all? Is he not betraying that very takoyaki?
You may be right. In one sense, it is a betrayal. However, it's the best possible compromise this man could find. This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. However, only one or two of them on each stick are the real ones.
Well, you're right. The one I ate had octopus in it. And considering it actually did have it, it didn't taste bad at all, you know?
Right. That was a bona fide takoyaki. And as for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise he can make against the biases of the general populace, who all think that there need to be 8 pieces on the stick, or else it's not real takoyaki.
Keiichi-kun, I don't understand what you mean. Why is one of them the real thing, and all the other ones are fakes? Why?
The secret lies in the octopus. Mister, this octopus. It's true Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi has decreased and their prices have risen drastically. Prices are now so high that you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. Then the man who had been looking down this whole time mumbled. Yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus. It's very expensive. But this man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. He could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper, as much as he wanted, and he would still have been able to fool everyone. There are plenty of other scammy takoyaki vendors who claims theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not. But this man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies. Akashi octopuses are supreme. He would never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. This man loved takoyaki. That's why he never lied. Yet, there was one point that he absolutely had to compromise on.
What might that be?
The number. The popular opinion is that a stick of takoyaki should have 8 pieces on it. Even if it's real Akashi octopus, he couldn't charge 400 yen for just 1 piece, could he? If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them. This man wept over it. In order to make just 1 true piece of takoyaki, he wouldn't ever let himself lie through the other 7. Oh, whoa. The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped one of his shoulders. No matter what anyone else says, I will never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. You are the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech. Everyone, I beg of you, please eat some of this true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If we don't treasure genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of the takoyaki? Nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all! Good marketing.
What? Everyone watching is lining up. Keiichi-kun, you did it! You did it!
Hey Roy, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you've got some good plans for IRL today. Unless you already did it. Oh man.
I think it's more they thought Kei-chan's propaganda speech was interesting rather than the takoyaki actually looked good. Kei-chan, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you tried.
Hey, there you go. Friends Day. That sounds like fun.
You would go over well at the entrance of Akihabara Station. Rika, I've never heard of this Akihabara. Where is it?
Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me. Oh, so basically we're just becoming free publicity for all these stalls. Hey, you guys, do that for my sweets too. Great, you all get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Morena.
Okay, I'll do my best. Oh, when apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good. Apricot is sitting so quietly and nicely on the top of the syrup. Oh, it's so cute. I want to take it home. Oh.
It looks like she lost herself in this midway through. But a girl giving us such natural praise was itself bringing in some customers. The line was quickly forming behind Reina. Next up is the okonomiyaki stand. Satoko, you're up.
A crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with the yakisoba is simply to die for. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, when you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah, that's freaking great. Now I want to try some too. Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around to all the stands.
When people hear about food from others and then try for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would.
So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty.
Nice, the older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Kei-chan, which one should I do?
Right, Mion. You go to the stand next to that. Show them the depths of your power.
Uh-huh. But Kei-chan, the stall next to that is...
Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element.
No, as club president, I won't flee no matter who or what my opponent. Let's get started. I look forward to a splendid performance, Mion-san.
The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes.
Welcome, welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Okay, here we go. The goldfish are energetic today. They really look delicious. Small things like these, you could crunch them down whole.
Why? Why is your selling point to eat the goldfish? Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so bad.
Mion-san, what in the world are you saying? Mi-chan, you eat them? Did you eat the one Reina got last year too? No, I didn't say anything like that.
Mion's face went red. And she shook vehemently in denial. Roy, are you having goldfish for lunch? I mean, to be fair, at least there's one kind of goldfish you can eat and not get dirty looks. No. Oh my gosh, I can only think of SpongeBob. It took me 3 days to make this potato salad. 3 days! Oh my god, I can't believe she tried to sell the goldfish stand by talking about how you can eat the goldfish. Oh, that's the one time we've seen Mion fail. Oh, well, I mean, you just said so yourself that they really look delicious.
Yes, you did indeed say so. My sister's omnivorous. She eats anything that can go in her mouth. If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time. No, Rika-chan, don't! You'll get sick!
Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here? Exactly my thought.
Hey, Kei-chan, Mion, everyone, good evening. Where'd you come from, Shion? I've been here since a bit with the yakisoba. You were all so loud that I found you right away. Jeez, you got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already. Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Kei-chan? You're okay with me being here, right?
God, she's trying to put on the womanly charms to be like, screw you, sister, I am staying with the group. She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it, of course. Yep, there it is. There it is! Bounce.
Keiichi-kun, you're a pervert. Your nose is bleeding.
When you squish a jelly donut, the jelly comes out, right? It's the same. This isn't something I have any control over. Yeah, sure.
Is that right? Then will more come out if I squeeze harder?
Squeeze. Shion's, her cleavage. It's right up against my chest. Drip. Yeah! Shion, what the heck are you trying to do?
How vulgar. I seem to have misjudged you. What about my flat chest?
What is happening? No! She's like 9, like, come on. No! 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 Oh, good lord, why? Why did I have to turn this way? Rika-chan clasps onto my other arm to rub. A plentiful, plump feeling on my left shoulder. And the sour sensation of a young, unripe fruit on my right. Oh. I can't. How? Now we're being Rika. I mean, not Rika right now. Oh god. I mean, the thing with Shion is like she's basically manipulating us with her womanly charms to get at Mion. So it's like that one is understandable why she's doing it, but I can't. I can't with Rika-chan doing it too. Oh, good God. Boom, boom, bang. Shion, Rika-chan, and I, our faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled. Nice job, Reina.
Everyone's so dirty. Oh. Reina punched me. It really hurts. Rika, you get what you deserve.
Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%.
Your friends are so much fun, Mion. I never get bored of them.
Ah, right. If you weren't here, it'd be way more fun, you know.
I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Kei-chan, my sister looks like she's literally going to bite my head off. So I'll retreat for now. I'll be back. See you, Mion.
Don't be back! Get the salt! Someone get the salt! After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared.
I feel that I've borne witness to a rare side of Mion-san. When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she looks kinda cute.
Reina smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion.
Don't say dumb stuff! Let's get to the next stand already.
We went about just like that, really noisy and lively, to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump! The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air.
Rika, it looks like it's time. Yep, looks like it.
Right. It's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance.
I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself. All of your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika-chan.
Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back.
That's right, you'll do fantastic, Rika. I'll do my best. Yeah, that's the spirit.
I balled my hand into a fist and raised it into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it. Yay! Remember? Go for it. Yay! Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off.
Okay, we should get going too.
Right, let's go cheer her on.
You mustn't. You must keep silent during the performance.
I got it, jeez. I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end.
Then we better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on!
Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Wow, this is a lot of people. I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? It probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. It's not gonna be Mion! I'm calling it now, it's gonna be Shion! It definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated. No big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me, though. Thump! Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on the stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? I mean, it's not necessarily the bedding, it's the cotton in the bedding that you're purifying. Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using a mochi pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved, raised, and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn. Why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her. Kei-chan, over here. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion, what's up? Shh! Just be quiet and come with me. After she told me so, she ran a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. As I wondered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds. Hey, wait. Where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh. Just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people, and not much moonlight. It was dark. It had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here? I see. There's some high spot around here, isn't there? Like a rooftop or somewhere we can look down at it, right? What? Why do we have to climb onto the roof? Well, how else are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? Did you really want to see Rika-chan's dance? Kei-chan, could it be that your strike zone is really low? I don't think we're understanding each other here. Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance from easily? What? Who made that promise? Oh no! Ah! She's trying to get you away from everybody and every. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah! What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it? Then why did you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds. And now a male and a female of the same age are all alone together." Ah! No! No, 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 no! Ah, we're trying to support our friend. And another friend is like, make out point, basically.
Eh? Can this be?
Shion, she's not playing something crazy again, is she?
Shh! Look over there. See?
Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbrush. And there we saw 2 figures. One male and one female. But what's that?
It's that. You're right, the scene of a rendezvous, of course. See? Look closely. Can you tell who they are?
Oh, don't tell me it's Tomitake and Takano. I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Ding, ding, ding! We have a winner! Oh, it's Tomitake-san and Takano-san! Oh, good God. The 2 of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building.
Wait, Shion. Could this be what you wanted to show me? Kei-chan, you can see Rika-chan dance any year, but you won't ever get another chance like this, okay?
I had thought the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar.
I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again. Ah! If you move now, they'll see us.
At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly turned around. Oh my, who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush. Well, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My, if it isn't Shion-chan and my Barakun. Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty. What's this? What's this? Keiichi-kun, you sure are smart, you know that? Having a secret date in a place like this? I guess we accidentally interrupted something important. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Tomitake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason. Wait, so you 2 weren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though I don't dislike that kind of romance. I can't talk, man. Though I don't dislike that kind of romance. Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you would want to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Tomitake-san, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the 2 of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Guess we've been found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse, but don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly, just because of how absently Tomitake-san was grinning. Nah, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we were trying to take anything out of here. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock the door? This is a forbidden storehouse for ritual tools. They say only the Furude family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse. I took a few steps back at that and looked on the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one built removed from any signs of people. Oh, it certainly looked like one built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened. And It was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses. This place? They're called ritual implements. Basically, this is a warehouse where they store such tools used in rituals. Well, more accurately, maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined. The ritual hall Rika-chan is using for the offertory dance was inside here until today. Of course, if anybody but the Hudade family enters, they bring impurity into it. So, absolutely no one is allowed a single step inside it. It's a sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hinamizawa's folk tales and legends out of an interest in them, didn't I? A lot of the answers to the questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot. Heh, I see. I didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Tomitaki-san. Stop it. I don't want to be doing this, okay? Sorry for taking you along with me, but this was all thanks to you, Jiro-san. I really am grateful. Sheesh. This is the only time, understand, Takano-san? I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. Hee. You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Clink. Tomitaki-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side. It's open. Thank you. At long last. Takano-san gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave the heavy door a shove. A sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it feels like we could be punished somehow. How about it? You're accomplices too. You came all the way here, so why not come in and take the tour? It'll be a little field trip to the Museum of Precious Cultural Artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizawa. And it's only open today. Hee. We're not accomplices or anything. Aren't you interested, though? Come on, let's take a peek. Shion said predictably, linking her arm with mine. She's literally just using her womanly charms to get us to do whatever she wants. But we definitely shouldn't be doing this. This is a holy warehouse, isn't it? You said ritual implements, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm a part of the Sonozaki family, so I have a good guess as to what we'll find in there. But I want you to see it too, Kei-chan. You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy too. And curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. You're making a mistake, Kei-chan! Until the locked door is open, though, I didn't know about this. If you're not interested, Kei-chan, then you can leave now. I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomitaki-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. I'll keep watch here. Go in and check it out with them. No. Go in and check it out with them. I'm not too interested. But it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Keiichi-kun. He said, laughing mischievously. There's no ill will in his laughter. Tomitake-san, do you know what's in here? Kind of. Takano-san told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomitake-san didn't answer that, only responded with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it. But Tomitake-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter. Okay, but just a little. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink. Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Jiro-san, we'll leave this to you. Tomitake-san waved his hand to see us off. The inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she'd brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room. It's so dark in here. Everyone, take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully as if leaving Tomitake-san out of something fun and began to close the door. Man. Alright, everyone have fun. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise. And we were completely cut off from the outside world and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with the backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano's noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was within. Strange how it has an antechamber, even though it's just a warehouse, isn't it? I believe it's set up this way so that you open one door at a time, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside. Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here. Huh? That over there, I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring clumsily attached to the wall. Oh, here, isn't this the light switch or something? I flipped the biggest switch I can find. With a click, the pitch black room was illuminated by an old, bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sudden strobe-like brightness. Don't! Before she even finished, she unslapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow! You can't, Kei-chan. We snuck in here, remember? If you turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. Looks like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light. It's all right. It was only for a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us. Let's go in. Here we go. There. The even heavier door opened, and this time, it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. There's also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, a nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market. From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! At the back of the wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama. It's far grander than the one at the shrine, Oyashiro-sama. So, this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside worlds, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land with the dam construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of them have been maintained. How unfortunate that they're in such a state. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead, this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, this was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away. Oh, is this not interesting for you? I'm not into literature or art, so I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Hoo-hoo. Keiichi-kun, you really do look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook, and began to flip through it. Then, just for you, Keiichi-kun, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this region. If you go to the library, it would even be in their recommended reading list. Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place? She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure for now, pretend to be calm. Okay? Alright, I'll read it. After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. The swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell, the land of the demons. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices sinking in the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about? So then the village was Hinamizawa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. Though it was called Onigafuchi Village at the time. Onigafuchi Village. That's a pretty inauspicious name. It evokes quite the image, doesn't it?
I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period.
The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigahuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onigahuchi Village.
The villagers belong to that abyss, or to hell, in other words. They live their lives worshipping the swamp said to connect to it. But then, one day, demons began to appear, one after the other, from deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble.
So, did someone exterminate them?
Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this fairy tale.
Then, did they get the whole village together to fight them?
Heavens no. The villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons.
Then, the only recourse would be to flee the village.
They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrifying the demons, they wouldn't have run away so easily.
Then, what did they do? Wouldn't they just get wiped out? Unable to fight and unable to run. All they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed.
Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended onto them.
I see. So, Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then.
You're such a boy, Kei-chan. You always jump straight to using force to resolve things.
Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue.
The thing about Oyashiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god who would beat them up like you're saying. He was a kind god, filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight. They simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return. The world of the demons, too, has harsh commandments. They claimed they had been banished from hell.
Demons who didn't have a place to go, either in hell or the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village.
Demons who didn't have a place to go, either in hell. Oh, wait.
They deeply reflect on it and were sorry.
As the villagers conversed amongst themselves, little by little, they came to pity the demons, and after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear one where they live in peace.
Oh, that's me.
You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolize all evils. A story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange.
When the demons
first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Oyashiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans, so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them.
A land in which man, demon, and god live together. I thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see. I guess it is kind of interesting. Although the normal fairy tale ends there, it was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So, the demons ended up disappearing? No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people call transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy. This story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean. The basis. What do you mean by root? She means the part about the villagers having demon blood. What I mean is, all of the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from the demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she, too, had demon blood in her. Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical facts beyond just fairy tales. Oh, my Barakun, do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans? Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but when she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn into bandit groups, and attack villages for food and the like. How does that explanation sound? Maybe it's a bit childish. Takano gave me a weird smile when, having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me. It's not ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happens. Were they groups of foreigners who had turned to banditry? Or were they really demons who had come from the bottom of the world? Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe? The truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romanticist. Here, I thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us. Huh? Suddenly, Shion looked around, as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro, like she was making sure nothing had changed. Huh? What's wrong, Shion?
I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it.
Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject.
I explained that half of the villagers have demon blood. That blood, I actually say that it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people.
Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly.
That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber.
I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending, with the humans and demons living in peace, but it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story.
Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. The villagers can't eat other villagers. So, when this happens, it's said that they descended on the human villages and conducted onikakushi.
What's an onikakushi?
Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone. When a person is demoned away. They say that the villagers of Onikakuchi village overwhelm unfortunate human villages in order to kidnap sacrifices.
Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villagers they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below. Hold on. I'm getting distracted over here. My bad. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices. So they're no different from demons after all. What did Oyashiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying at the village and watching over them?
Oyashiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onikakushi isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices set upon by their god.
Oh, that's starting to make a little bit of sense. Hey, Triss! Yeah, welcome on in. This is just the chill stream of listening to a story. Hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. Hope everybody that's listening is doing well. Appreciate everybody that's here.
In the text, it's usually one or two people.
A village inhabited by those both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted, like negative film. Appreciate it. Hope the workday is going well. Hopefully you get a productive day and then just enjoy the weekend. It was like the heartwarming episode's color had inverted, like negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth.
So, on the nights when they raided villages, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Watanagashi. Watanagashi. Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me. Watanagashi, well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we use over the winter or something? Kei-chan, Wata has another meaning, you know. It means entrails.
Oh, Lord. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, this is getting pretty dark pretty quick. To be fair, this series does that, but, like, it's always a shock when it just, like, happens out of, like, seemingly nowhere. Shion, who had been silent until now, spoke up. Entrails? Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Watanagashi. So, gut spilling. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating.
Yes, it's as you imagine, my Rara-kun. Right now, the Watanagashi Festival might just be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but it used to be different. It used to be a ghastly, cannibalistic feast held on the night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner.
That can't be true! I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it.
My Rara-kun, you said that Watanagashi is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons, filled with cotton, with wata, represents?
Futons are futons. They're beds. They're things for sleeping in. What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons, stuffed with cotton. If the cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans.
Why don't you think back to the offertory dance Rika-chan performed? Do you know what she was doing up there?
No, I don't. I didn't even watch the whole thing anyway.
Shh! Kei-chan, you're getting too worked up.
Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel.
Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe. You've probably realized it already, but that's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies.
I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I'd left. When I told this to Takano-san, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out, one bit at a time, and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was.
Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony where they'd rip out the guts and throw them into a basin. And then the ritual was over. It's thought that afterwards the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it.
Okay, Takano-san is definitely Roy at this point. I'm just saying that. Roy, if you hear me, you're Takano. Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt, for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan. Every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets, to practice for the offertory dance she had done today. All that effort, all that work. And Takano-san disgraced it. Even though she worked so hard to practice for today. Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Kei-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him so much. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that sort of shock value since you're a boy. Takano-san spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully. After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff is in the storehouse, Kei-chan? See? Look. Shion pointed out one of the walls vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was... mere months ago, it hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. Ugh. All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use. They all suddenly took on a new meaning. And I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first, they looked like carpentry tools like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yes. On the page introducing the Kaitai Shinsho, or the new text on anatomy. These sorts of things, they're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world. These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. The things they hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those. I just need to turn this down by one. If you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Heh? Takano-san, holding the lantern, the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. Look. Takano-san illuminated a coil chain which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain in itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Kei-chan, look at that! Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet as it crawled up my back. On each of the joints, there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in. It's probably a
A chopping block. I think he'd strap the sacrifice down to prep them for eating.
The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or a saw. That's a typo. Typo! We're getting the typos. Oh, man. Yeah, this is definitely starting to get really creepy. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you slice open their belly and dissect them?
I'd heard the stories, but this is incredible.
Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination.
There's still more. How about it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it?
Takano-san had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank. This was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all this. That would be none other than Takano-san herself. Takano-san, holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then I would. What would I do when the next moment everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light. And anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally here and now. Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools piled up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifices' freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reasons they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then the person you'd use them on... If that was the goal, then the person you used them on would obviously end up dead. The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, they might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that'd be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now, in this moment, did I fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. People, you see, most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly. Takano-san, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile. Burning at the stake, the famous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately. Fun fact: the witches that were killed in Salem were not burned at the stake. They were all hung in gallows. When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, the decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces poison-like symptoms and causes an immense shock to the victim. Though, I suppose it's still very cruel. Compared to the guillotine, you have to wait far longer for that to happen. She described such horrors in a strangely medical way. She immediately answered the question I had. Takano-san is a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. Oh, and also, there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill the person, just like a barbecue. They would cover the person in wire netting and slowly cook them over a charcoal fire. To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now, of all times, so vividly. That's what it was like. Apparently, they wouldn't die too easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to a crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and able to speak fluently. That's insane. You'd grill someone the whole day, and they'd still be conscious. It said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible. Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them up with a winch, and put them on public display. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared. She was protecting her stomach. You would think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, it's apparently to pull them all out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. Yeah, I think I need to turn on the mature filter at this point. Hold on. I think this is... I probably should have done it way before now, but yeah, it's annoying to turn on the mature filter for streams, honestly. Like, if I've got to be like 10,000% honest, it's so annoying to do. Yeah, so apologies to anybody who's getting a sick feeling in their stomach. I really hope you're not eating. And as I say that, I can't find it. Hold on. Where the hell is it? There we go. Mature content. There we go. It's enabled! Okay. It was like my organs were coiling up. Just from Takano-san's stare. Though, pulling them out with a winch was a rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, it might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it? However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful. She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. I heard Shion gulping multiple times near my ears. Perhaps Hinamizawa, or rather, Watanagashi village, did something like that for the Watanagashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, can't you hear it? I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? Takano-san, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then, she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano-san along on her field trip through the ritual storehouse. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason, I felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once. Kei-chan, look up! Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there were a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there, no, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano-san's mention of execution by grilling crosses my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. things crowding the ceiling, or even hanging over our heads.
There are many of these sorts of bird cages among European torture devices. I'm surprised to see them in Japan as well. K-chan, is there something in there? Person? A mummy?
Where? Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place.
I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things?
Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder.
My Barakun, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa?
It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape? Like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts. That was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events. And in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well.
Just as Europe had its Dark Age, Hinamizawa had one too. That's how this should be taken. Even if these things all really happened in Hinamizawa, they're all long past. They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizawa right now.
Oh, wait.
My Barakun, you really do like this village.
It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile.
Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right?
Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Are you telling me that all these horrible things are still going on, even today?
What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers don't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished.
Shion flashed in a devilish smile, as if reveling in the immorality of it.
My Barakun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer a Yashiro-sama's curse, or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafushi swamp while still alive? It is tonight, you know. The night of Yashiro-sama's curse.
Takano-san said, bringing her face right up close to ours. As if to say that if she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano-san took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. There were all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it had all manner of things written inside. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was about.
What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but here it is.
A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was about just by glancing at it.
This is a story that actually happens. It was around the end of the Meiji era. It discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder in Onigafuchi village.
An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale.
We don't have most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories. See, it's not very clear, but it looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era.
Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely intense. Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult.
Do you understand what it must have been like?
I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination.
The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture, and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that, even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, my Barracoon?
She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then, when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools. And as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. So, that creepy incident, what was it in the end?
The author says that regarding Onigafuchi's village's dreadful customs, they've survived into recent post-Meiji days, and that perhaps they last until around the beginning of the Showa period.
This corpse, which at a glance had been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it. Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. That's all. Only 100 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like with the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. That story was taboo, wasn't it? Takano-san immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano-san. What did you just say? Canned flesh? Just then, it was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomitaki-san, who had opened the door slightly. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over and everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over within minutes. Oh, that's no good. My Barakun is just a good listener that couldn't help telling stories. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this. Jiro-san, could you wait out front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. Takano-san took camera. Takano-san took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Oh man. That whole section was certainly something, huh? I'm gonna need to get a breath of fresh air at some point too. We'll find a good stopping point and I'll take a break. Oh my god. That got way more intense than the stuff in the first chapter. Oh my god. You guys doing okay in chat? I hope you're fine after that. Jesus Christ, man. Oh. You know, I think this is a good time to take a break. Like, holy shit, some of the stuff that was going on is just freaking insane. So yeah, I'm gonna take my break now. Just try to get some of that imagery out of my mind. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. I appreciate everybody that's here. I'm sorry that I didn't put the mature tag until now. But sincerely, I appreciate everybody that's here watching, chatting, lurking. I appreciate all you guys. I'll be back in a few. Alright. Hey, Tato. Thank you for the work. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well today. You came in at a good time because we got through all the really gross stuff. I am actually feeling like lightheaded from it. Oh my god. It got super intense. Alright. So we're coming out of the storeroom. What's going on with it? Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. How was it? Interesting. Tomitaki-san gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. You should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were. Oh my god, mine included. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitaki-san. Tomitaki-san laughed so delightfully that wiped away our dark feelings. How'd you fare, Shion-chan? Were you scared?
I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful.
Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitaki-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. I was talking to an adult about this little expedition. You know how she seems like a child sometimes. I was worried she'd be way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed, and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there, or mess with the ritual implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket.
Yeah, I can see that.
Shion said what I was thinking. You're sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous.
I'm sorry, I ran out of film. Jiro-san, if you have any more, could I use some?
Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitaki-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. No, I'm all out of spare film. Sorry about that.
Jeez. Well, when any Pulitzer Prize...
Yeah.
Jeez. You won't win any Pulitzer Prizes by not stocking enough film for any occasion, you know. I suppose that's it then.
Tomitaki-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, and closed the door, and turned to the heavy padlock we left beside it. Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right?
How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish.
Clack. Tomitaki set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Okay. Let's get over to the stream ourselves. If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomitaki-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times, driving away the dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you?
Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this.
Wow. She's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this through and through. We descended the stone stairs and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over. Damn, missed my chance to photograph the best part of the Watanagashi.
Oh, but it's not too late. I'm going to go and set some afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me?
Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomitaki-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomitaki-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman. Goodbye, then. My Barakun, Shion-chan.
We're going down to the stream. Would you like to come with us?
No. I couldn't get in your way. Please take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Tomitaki-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps.
I'm pretty worn out.
Same here. I'm exhausted too.
Kei-chan, this is your first Watanagashi, isn't it? You go on, don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd.
Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony.
My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too. Go on.
Oh, yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I'd feel bad if they were looking for me. Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips, as if telling me to keep this a secret.
My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was hogging you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it, so keep tonight a secret, okay?
Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing.
Not only because of that either.
Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret.
Oyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates.
Loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing.
Alright, I'm going to get out of here before I run into my sister. I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway.
I can't tell if you get along with her or not.
We get along.
Though as she said that, her vague expression explained that there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins. I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay?
Right. Thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Kei-chan. Watanagashi really is about to end.
Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me.
Seriously though, what was that sound anyway? It's kind of unpleasant and creepy.
Huh? What sound?
These sounds. You know, the banging noise. It was really loud, wasn't it?
I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too. Sorry, Shion. Could you give me the short version? What was making noise?
Wait, Kei-chan. It didn't bother you?
When all's said and done? It was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explain it to me, without jokes, from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise?
Kei-chan, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you?
Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and asked politely, one more time. I'm going to ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently. Okay, here goes. You said there was a sound. What are you talking about?
The banging sound. It was like a kid was jumping up and down the floorboards somewhere far away. It really didn't bother you?
There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything.
Oh, wait, Kei-chan, are you serious?
Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine.
It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse with Takano-san. About the time she started her stories, I think it was. Little by little, louder and louder, off and on.
She heard a banging sound, like a child jumping on distant floorboards? That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening.
Please don't try to scare me either, Kei-chan. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano-san's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time.
A chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over.
You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened a bunch of times, and it was really loud.
Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've got to be kidding, look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble? Or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about?
I really got you, Kei-chan. I was fibbing the whole time.
What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial and actually made me feel worse. Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left, almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomitake-san said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises like someone was jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomitake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. Then that noise. It was real? The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Or Yashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomitake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then, all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch.
Keiichi, we found you.
It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Reina were there too. Mion sighed and said, "We finally found you! Now we just need to find Satoko."
Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. How?
You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt.
Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing?
Ah, yeah. I saw it all. You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either.
Yeah, that's right, Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake.
And tensed up as I realized I made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand on my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body.
Did you do it too, Kei-chan?
Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
Uh-huh. You haven't yet? You haven't, Keiichi-kun? You should go now or it'll be over. It'll be over.
Sorry. It's my first Watanagashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Mion took my head and we started walking down the stone steps.
Hey, Kei-chan.
What?
Did you see Shion?
My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No? Oh well. I sort of think I saw her. You two look so alike, though, so it might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Huh? Oh. That's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me. I just can't do anything about that Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. You ever receive new tips from the scrapbook 4, 5, and after the festival? I let out a great big yawn. It was like morning had arrived just as I got to sleep. As Mom set up breakfast, she gave me a pained smile.
What's the matter, Keiichi? What time did you go to bed? What time did you go to sleep last night?
Well, I wanted to go to sleep at midnight, but I had some trouble with that.
You were probably all worked up from the festival.
No, that's not it. Crunch, crunch. Crunch down hard on the pickled radish to hide my embarrassment. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. After all that happened yesterday and our discussion about the sound Shion heard, that banging noise, like a child far away jumping up and down on a wooden floor, the story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night, and I kept jumping at the slight sounds of faraway tree branches, which should have been either unhearable or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty ashamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning.
Keiichi-kun! Good morning! Keiichi-kun, your eyes are all red. Why is that? Why?
Oh, hey, good morning. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm sleep deprived today.
The festival yesterday was a lot of fun. Reina's excitement took a long time to go to sleep, so I took a long time to go to sleep too. To sleep!
In Reina's case, her excitement seemed to still be wide awake.
They should have this kind of festival more often, so we can have lots of fun together again. Oh.
Yeah. Reina talking about the festival yesterday made me remember everything I had nearly forgotten from last night. The inside of the ritual storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright, everyday life of Hinamizawa. All those stories that Takano-san told me too. The mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Watanagashi festival every year. The strange incidents where one person would die and one would disappear. The old stories of Hinamizawa flickering like a candle behind them. The numerous and horrifying traditions of Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them. The terrible cannibalistic feasts. The poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages, victims of the Onikakushi. To quell the rage of Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involving living sacrifices. There were also many, many others. There were so many stories that just remembering them put me in a foul mood. Most of them weren't fiction either. They were true. We didn't need to fear them just because they were real, though, since it all happened so long ago. Such a very long time ago.
Where's Michan? She's late.
Uh-huh. Before I realized it, we had arrived at the place where we'd usually meet with Mion. Probably because I was so lost in thought.
We agreed that if she isn't here by now, we can just go on.
Oh, wait, that's me. We agreed that if she isn't here by now, we can just go on ahead, right? Should we? Mion being late wasn't too rare an occurrence, but today she was unusually late. A few of the ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die this year, and who would disappear? It couldn't have been Mion.
What should we do, Keiichi-kun? If we don't get going, we'll be late.
She'll be here. She didn't call to tell us she'd be staying home today, right? Let's just wait 5 more minutes, okay? Reina looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but then she nodded with a satisfied smile. If we had to wait 5 minutes, we'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, we spotted Mion running towards us out of breath. Sadie, welcome! Thank you for another 2,000 to the VN Friday challenge. Hope you're doing well today. Oh man.
In the game of chess, you can never let your adversary see your pieces.
Thank you so much for that, Sadie. I always love the zap alerts. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Hope everybody in chat is doing well. Appreciate all y'all for being here. I'm trying to, I gotta pull up some streams. Why are you back online? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Somebody raided and went off, and now they're back online. So, like, it's, you know, it's kind of funny. It reminds me of my Thursday nights in a way. What's the other one I was gonna pull up? Dang it, somebody else made the joke. Okay. Just doing my lurky stuff really quick. Alrighty. Ooh, like Spider-Man the animated series from what, the 90s or whatever it was? Well, have fun with that. Sounds like me binging through the Looney Tunes stuff, man. Oh, the movies. Okay. Yeah. You've got that 70s show Spider-Man and Garfield the cat Spider-Man. Kappa. All right. Mii-chan, you're late. You waited? You should have just gone on ahead. Mian was breathing heavily and her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? It wasn't far enough away for her to end up like this, was it? Mii-chan, are you not feeling well? Huh? Now that she mentioned it, Reina pushed Mion's bangs away and put her hand to her forehead. Reina, your hand is pretty cold. Mii-chan, you're a little bit warm. It's no big deal. Give it half a day and I'll be as fit as a fiddle. Are you really okay? You don't have to push yourself, you know? What's this? Kei-chan, are you worried about me? Ah ha ha, that's nice of you. That answer wasn't like Mion at all. She must have had it pretty bad. I just think you shouldn't push yourself so hard. We can tell the teacher you had to take the day off. I'm fine. I took some medicine. I think it's already working. Mion forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us. Okay, then let's go. Don't overdo it. But, of course, there's the time. What? We need to run or we won't make it! This Mori sure is thrilling. Maybe it's just why I need to shake off this slowness. Let's run. Hey, wait. You're sick. Don't go overboard. Mion began to run vigorously anyway. Mii-chan is older than us, right? She knows her own body better than anyone. I'm laughing. So, I was thinking about the Spider-Man stuff. I've got the first, like, the original first two movies. And then, yeah, I saw 3 when it was on, was it HBO or Stars, like, when it was coming out? In, like, 2008, 2009, whenever it was. Yeah, I never bought that one. I decided to leave it at that and assume she was fine. Great, then we should get going too. We began to run after Mion. The school looked the same as always. The hours passed listlessly, and my lack of sleep took its toll. If there was a sport where people competed by sleeping, I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcoming this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Why, you ask? So you don't just draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. If you're holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, wouldn't it? Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump, bump. Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the head 6 times. Ow, ow! What was that for, Satoko? I haven't done a single thing. Who else would play a prank on me like this? Oh, it was chalk, not an eraser. Eh? Behind me, like a female outlaw might hold razors, was the teacher's shadow holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Rumble, rumble, rumble. My Barracoon, go ahead and wash your face. Right. Gladly. That alone was enough to wake me up, but I flew out into the hallway, as if shoved out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power. If I was going to wash my face anyway, then I would rather use the sinks out in front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Thinking that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance. The sunlight was strong. So strong you wouldn't think it was June. I turned the faucet, and with a lifeless bubbling noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. If I let it run for a few moments, would it get cold? I looked at it absent-mindedly for a little while. I knew you'd choose these sinks, Kei-chan. The ones out front just feel better, don't they? Mion? No cutting class now. Stuck my hands into the water to find it had gotten so cold that it seemed strange that it had ever been warm. I scooped it up and splashed it against my face. Once I was done, I moved out of the way, and Mion did the same. Mion, how is your cold doing? You're sleepy because of the medicine, not from lack of sleep, right? Actually, this is a secret, but after the festival yesterday, I got wrapped up in the party my relatives were having. And well, I had a bit. She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup into her mouth. Which means you didn't have a cold or anything. Are you hungover? How old are you? Give me a break. I really don't feel well, you know. I suppose she'd be feeling lousy either way. So you treat colds and hangovers in completely different ways. I was worried over nothing. Man, I guess that's just like you, Mion. Mion scratched her head a little embarrassed. She didn't seem to be feeling well, but now that I knew it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry too much. It would go away with time after all. Oh, but my head really is pounding, so the teacher told me I should go home early. Ah, you cheater! So, are you going home now, Mion? Now that I looked again, Mion had her back with her. She must have been on her way home. Yep, I feel bad about it, though. I'll get some rest at home like a good girl. I'm sorry I can't make it to the club. Would you take over as leader for today, Kei-chan? I don't know if that will happen. We have that unspoken rule where we don't do the club unless everyone is there, don't we? We never did when you had to go to your part-time job, did we? Mion laughed wryly, saying we didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about friends who can't share in it is the sign of a really fantastic friendship. In that sense, the club Mion has created is a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. If I didn't get back to the classroom soon, I could get in trouble. Okay, later. I'm going back. Be careful on your way home. Don't wobble into a sewer or a brook. Got it? I left it at that, turned around, and started heading back to the classroom. Oh, one more thing, Kei-chan. Mion stopped me, and I turned my head to listen. What's up? This may sound weird, but don't think too hard about it. Well, that depends on what it is. Oh god, Wah. You rated at an interesting time. Welcome everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. So we got our visual novel VTube Friday, and yeah, this is we've already hit the VTuber goal for July, so we're gonna have what is it, like 6 more weeks of this at least, or something like that. I saw you were live doing golf with your friends speedruns, then you went offline, and then I saw you come back on. I don't know why you came back on. You were trying to do like Mario stuff, and then you went, and then you rated me, and that was like, yeah, that was 10 minutes ago. I pulled you back up. Hope everybody's doing well though. Hope you guys are well. Yeah, we're at the very we're starting to get to the funky stuff of this. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, we're at let's just put it this way. We had the Watanagashi festival was the night before. And we snuck into like one of these storerooms that houses a lot of the sacred ritual stuff, only to find basically torture stuff. So yeah, we're next day, and it's just yeah, it's starting to get really creepy at this point. So yeah. Well, appreciate all you guys coming here. Pretty much with this stream today, you know, you can just chill, listen. I read all the text because there's no other voiceovers. So, you know, just relax, have fun. And yeah, let's hope there's no stomach churning stuff to go on with this. So hope everybody's doing well though, otherwise. All right, so last night, near the end of the festival, did you see Tomitake-san or Takano-san anywhere? I suddenly tensed up. You know Tomitake-san and Takano-san, right? You remember, Kei-chan, when the 4 of you were talking during setup the day before? If I could, I want to forget about sneaking into the storehouse that night as soon as possible. So, hearing the names of the people I was with at the time really got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mion asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. Was she asking to see if I had seen them or not? Or was she asking the question knowing that I had? I couldn't tell. Well, maybe? I might have seen them around. I don't know. My vague response was clearly not to Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? There was no way for me to know. I see. Then, one more question. On the same night, did you see Shion? My heart leapt into my throat again. The tiny needles buried underneath Mion's words pricked into me. That... Didn't you ask me that yesterday? I think I told you that I wasn't sure if I had or not. Did you? I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again. I suddenly noticed something in Mion's eyes. Something indescribable. Tomitake-san and Takano-san. Shion too. She was asking me about them. There was no doubt about it. Last night, the 4 of us snuck into the ritual storehouse. she knew everything. So what? It's not really a curse anyway. That's right. Even Shion and Takano-san said yesterday during the festival that there was no curse. And that rather than a curse, it was the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Mion was, almost without a doubt, aware that we snuck into the storehouse. It was nothing strange. I screwed up bad flipping on the light switch last night. If Mion had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen that momentary light and come to find out what was going on. Did you really not see her? Why are you so intent on knowing if I did or not? It's not important. It's just that there are some people who are speaking poorly of Tomitake-san, Takano-san, Shion, and you, Kei-chan. I didn't really hear what they were saying, though. Unpleasant sweat dripped down my arms, and the sound of it hanging from my fingertips was so annoyingly loud. I don't believe you're doing something bad. I just wanted to ask a bit about it, so I did. I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable, okay? I found myself unable to reply. So basically, this is kind of saying that, yeah, most of the villagers know what we did. We're gonna die. We're actually we're gonna get murdered by these villagers, I swear. My reaction must have made it obvious what the truth was, and yet I couldn't explain myself. Kei-chan, you weren't with Tomitake-san, Takano-san, or Shion, right? Yeah. I finally wrung out an answer between ragged breaths. Mion's expression softened a little. That's good. I'll have to tell them. You weren't involved in anything bad, Kei-chan, so I'll make sure to tell everyone. Yeah, please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone. Make sure. Everyone. Everyone. Who is everyone? Okay, later. I'll be better tomorrow. Bye-bye. Wait, Mion. What do you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck. Hey, you're late, my raccoon. How long does it take you to wash your face? It was the teacher. I was taking so long she came out to get me. I'm sorry. I was just speaking to Mion. I turned around, but Mion had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing it. It was now standing at the gate. Come back to your studies. Quickly now. The teacher was being insistent. We returned to the entrance. I looked back one more time, and Mion was nowhere in sight.
Keiichi, you haven't seemed well all day. It's clearly because he had far too much fun yesterday.
I don't want to be told that by the one who got lost. Your face was all red and you were nearly crying.
Satoko-chan was so cute last night. How?
My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it didn't lighten my mood. Was it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something that terrible last night? These thoughts remained with me for the rest of the day.
Bye, Keiichi-kun. I'll see you tomorrow.
By the time I realized it, I was in front of my own house.
Mi-chan had a cold, right? Could you have a cold too, Keiichi-kun? Could you?
Huh? I'm fine. I may look scrawny, but I've never missed school because of a cold.
Both you and Mii-chan didn't look so good today, though.
Thanks for worrying about me. I'm fine. Idiots don't catch colds, remember? Reina smiled, then waved to me and left. Whew. My shoulders bobbing up and down from breathing heavily, I entered the house. As soon as I got back in, Mom called out to me. What? Keiichi? I'm sorry, but could you go to the library and return a few books for me? I don't feel like it. Your dad and I have to wait inside the house for a phone call right now, so we can't leave. I need to return them today. Could you please do it? Sheesh. Did it have to do with Dad's job? No point in arguing if they bring that up. I guess so, but I don't know where the library is. Oh, you don't? It's a little bit past Okinomiya Station. Just then the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. Mom snatched up the receiver. Hello? My bar is speaking. I'm sorry? Yes, he's right here. Then she thrust the receiver at my face. It's for you, Keiichi. Don't take too long, okay? I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. Hello? Ah, this is Sonozaki. Well, the younger one. Hello! Do you have time to talk right now? It was Shion. The older sister had a hangover today, but the younger made no reference to it. Shion? I thought you'd be sleeping in today with a hangover, same as Mion. What? Mion had a hangover? That's so like her. She laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up. Whoops, sorry. My parents are waiting for an important call, so I can't talk for too long. What do you need? There's something I wanted to talk about, but if we can't talk long, I guess that's that. She sounded a little disappointed. What would Shion want to talk to me about? Now I was interested. Then how about we meet in person? If you could show me where the library is too, that would be great. You mean the public library near the station? Yes, that's fine. I go past there on my way to work anyway. Okay, then you know where I usually meet up with Mion? At that intersection where the small path from the Sonozaki house splits. Okay, Chan, did I not tell you? I don't live at the main house. I live in Okinomiya. If we could meet by the ticket machines at Okinomiya Station, that would be great. Main house? Living in Okinomiya? Now that you mentioned it, it's always seemed like the Sonozaki sisters weren't communicating. Did they live in different houses? Also, now that she mentioned it, Reina said she never met the younger sister despite going over to play sometimes. Let's meet at the station then. I'll go there right away. Bye! I set the receiver down and Mom immediately thrust a pile of library books in my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels. Mom had her own hobbies. Thank you, Keiichi. Be back by nightfall. Got it. Okay, I'm going. I suppose I'd change my clothes and grab my bike key. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Shion had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process. Wow, Mio never keeps her appointments. I mean, honestly. Making my sister the standard for everything will get you in trouble. Shion seemed a little unsteady, too. She was drinking with Mion last night, wasn't she? You were drinking last night, too, weren't you? Don't try and hide it. You definitely went home from school early. Ooh, too bad. I've been at home all day in the first place. I'm smarter than Mion after all. Hey, I don't think you can call playing hooky smarter. You should finish your errand first. We don't have that much time. We're going to the library, right? Yeah, thanks. My mom had to return some books by today. Is the library far? No, it's really close by. As she said that, we spotted the signboard for the library almost immediately. If it was this easy to find, then I guess I didn't need Shion to show me where it was after all. We rode around a bend and the building was right there. Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expected too much, but it was pretty big. The first floor was actually a government office, so the library was only on the second floor, but it still looks large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by the cool breeze of an air curtain. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet inside the library. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique to old paper. I guess every library is basically the same. There was one difference. It was that people studying for tests weren't taking up all the seats. I was one of those people, but now that seemed like a distant memory. Hello, I have books I'd like to return. The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. Shion was going around the bookshelves with a deeply interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who went to libraries very often. Excuse me. Sorry for the wait. I'm all done. Libraries sure are nice and cool, aren't they? I want to work in a library one day. Don't know whether to call that boring or dependable. It's a pretty small dream compared to your sister. Mion would definitely want to be a hard-working employee for an international trading company or some other crazy job that involved her running all over the world. Compared to that, what Shion said is pretty heartwarming. Well, we need to keep our differences dear to us. We're not copies, we're two different people, called Shion and Mion. Twins have a lot to think about, huh? Still, it sounds like fun. I don't have any brothers, so there's just me and my parents at my house. It can get a little uncomfortable. It's the same for me. I don't live with Mion after all. Oh, right. She said something like that, didn't she? Why, though? Sisters living apart is unusual. We were getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, and continuing the conversation. Yes, Mion lives at the main house and I live in Okinomiya. What do you mean by main house? You make it sound like you're nobility. It's just the main house. The Sonozaki family's main house. Mion's a successor, so she lives with Nana and apparently studies all sorts of things as preparation to be the head of the family. Mion, the head of the family? It kind of fit her personality, but kind of didn't too. Kei-chan, you just moved here, right? This will sound like I'm boasting, but we of the Sonozaki family are kind of personages around here. Huh? Seriously? The word personage didn't really match the extremely sociable air that Mion and Shion gave off. From what Shion explained, the Sonozaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful ventures and extended their influence to a wide area. The Sonozaki house is a foundation under which the entire family cooperates. Though the current family head, Grandma, was the one who built it. The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with the business venture. They were like a huge living company. This let them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeed, one after another, using large amounts of money. If you ever go for a walk through Okinomiya, pay attention to the signboards and stuff. There's a ton of shops that are managed by members of the Sonozaki family. Now that you mention it, that toy store looked like it was managed by relatives as well. Does that mean... Does that mean your relatives operate Angel Mort too? Even with what few shops I was familiar with were involved with the Sonozaki family. It was definitely surprising. The family is particularly strong in finance and real estate. Even a lot of members of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry either have the last name Sonozaki or are their relatives. There are Sonozakis in the city council and the prefectural assembly too, since they have the Okinomiya area giving them strong electoral support. Wait a minute. This is all escalating pretty quickly. Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okinomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate. On top of that, a lot of those in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry are relatives, and there are even people elected to local offices. So then, the Sonozaki family, it's pretty famous in this area. Yes, it's crazy. All of a sudden, a cigarette-smoking, overweight old man interrupted our conversation. Wait, I know this guy. Hello, good afternoon. Are you on a date today? Ah, what I would give to be young again. If you thought we were on a date, then why are you bothering us? Oishi-san. That was it. He was Oishi-san, a police officer. I thought it was this person who came to my rescue when I got involved with those delinquents before. Now that I thought about it, Mion didn't seem to like him very much. No, I apologize. I heard a familiar voice, so I came over to see. Oishi-san laughed coarsely, not showing any sign of giving up. As Shion watched him do so, I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion. Maibara-san, right? You're one tough guy. Two-timing the Sonozaki sisters, are you? No, I'm not two-timing anyone. I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained her silence. Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock. I'm sorry, Kei-chan. I really need to get to my job. Huh? Oh, did you? Wait, didn't Shion have something to talk about today? Now this weird man is here, though. Yep, I'll see you later. Oh, I'll give you a call after I'm done. It'll be okay to call at night, right? Yeah, probably okay. Then I'll talk to you later tonight. Bye. Shion left so fast she was practically running. Oishi-san was waving at me with a grin. Felt like I'd been left here as bait so she could get away. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work. You're quite the big shot being so close to the Sonozaki daughters. Maybe I should rethink how I talk to you too. Oishi-san put a coin into a vending machine as he said something a bit appalling. Is iced tea okay with you? Do you want some milk in it? Huh? Oh, no, I'll put some in then, alright. Here you are. He handed me a cup of tea filled to the brim with ice as I looked on absent-mindedly. I don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me, so I'll thank him. Was Oishi-san just killing time? We didn't know each other well, but he still engaged me in conversation about all sorts of dumb things. When I thought back to how I talked with Shion, this seemed like a total disaster. Maibara-san, how much do you know about Sonozaki-san? Other than what I heard just now, nothing. Until then, I hadn't known anything about either Mion or Shion, other than the fact that they were interesting. I really did only just learn that she was the daughter of some prestigious family. The Sonozakis are a Yakuza group with this entire region under their thumb. Plus, her father is a high-ranked executive in the XX Yakuza Association. Did you know that? What? Executive? Have you ever seen where Shion-san lives? It's the very picture of a gang boss's house, protected by high walls, barbed wire fence, and security cameras. If you have the chance, you probably should go and visit her. She'd mentioned Mion being a successor, but to a Yakuza group? No. Not at all, not at all. A boring old Yakuza group isn't the only thing Mion Sonozaki-san will inherit. She's inheriting the Sonozaki family itself. And I'll leave it to you to mull over what exactly that means. Oishi-san had spoken lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable. If Mion-san wanted to, she could kill someone in the middle of the street and still cover it up. Not only would witnesses not show up, but she'd put pressure on the police too. Mion-san would never kill someone. She wouldn't. I'm just speaking hypothetically. Your name, it was Oishi-san, right? Yes, that's right. Then, Oishi-san, whatever family Mion comes from, it doesn't change the fact that she's the best friend I could ever have, and I'm proud of that. I don't appreciate people speaking ill of her. I let my quiet anger show through in my gaze as I stared at him. Of course, I could never seem to tell what he's thinking, so I didn't know if it had any effect. Then let me be frank. If Mion-san was suspected of a handful of incidents, what would you think? Suspected? Incidents? You can't just say terrible stuff like that on a whim. Then it would be a misunderstanding, of course. Mion may say some dangerous things, but she's not the kind of person who would do something so awful. Maibara-san, keep your voice down. We're in a library. Oishi-san shushed me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I was, I wouldn't be calmed down so easily. Please, calm down. As I said before, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of power in this region, for better or worse. So if anything happens, they would immediately be suspect. I'd appreciate it if you understood that. Well, I know what Oishi-san is trying to say. Combining it with what Shion told me before, the Sonozaki family is huge and controls everything from Hinamizawa to Okonomiya. Mion, meanwhile, is its successor, who apparently holds strong influence over the entire family. Still, that's all? It's the only reason they're suspecting her? I'm just doing my job here. Not to doubt Mion-san of anything, but to clear up suspicions surrounding her. Please think of it like that. He could talk a dog out of a meat truck. He was the definition of a shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I'd met him. Oishi-san, do you need something from me? Yes, I do. Keiichi Maibara-san? He answered in an absent tone of voice. Mion's being suspected of something, and you came to hear from a friend of hers. Me. Was that it? Oh wait, that was me. No, that isn't it. I didn't come to talk to a friend of Mion Sonozaki. I came here to talk to Keiichi Maibara-san. It would probably have bothered you if I had visited your house. To me? What did the police want with me? Having realized this faked coincidental meaning had me as its target, my mood immediately turned foul. No, you don't need to be so tense. Calm down and just answer a few questions. Am I being questioned? Let's call it a chat with the guy you happen to run into. Oishi-san freely suggested that I relax. That said, behind his eyes was a light, which I could only see sometimes. It was sharp as a hawk. If I tried in vain to run away, he might actually take me in and bring me to an interrogation room or something. That was an undoubtedly unpleasant thought. You had a roaring good time at the Watanagashi festival last night, didn't you? Don't beat around the bush, please. I can't do small talk right now. Last night during the festival. Did you see Jiro Tomitake-san and Mio Takano-san? I could plainly feel myself give a start. Where did I put those pictures? Oh, here they are. He opened a small notebook and removed 2 photographs. I didn't have to look. Well, who knows? I might have seen them around. I don't remember. I was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time too. Your memories are blurry. You couldn't have possibly been drinking or anything. Here too, I got the same answer as I had from Mion. I realized he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me the same thing Mion did? The dark feelings I had nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. We snuck into the sacred ritual storehouse, a punishable act. It was on a tiny impulse. While it may not count for much now, I do feel sorry about it. I'll ask you again. Did you see Jiro Tomitake-san and Mio Takano-san at the festival last night? His tone was soft, but there was a dreadfulness in his voice, clearly different from the first time he asked. I'm scared. That was exactly how I felt. Even if you repeat the question, my answer won't change. I don't really remember. There wasn't any better answer I could give him. I didn't have the balls to say I didn't see them, nor the courage to admit I had. I see. I just thought that maybe I'd get a different answer if I asked a second time. I'm too scared to look Oishi-san in the eyes. I'll change the question. Come, Maibara-san. Relax. Oishi-san grabbed my shoulders and squeezed them as if trying to give me a massage. It mostly just hurt, though. Still, why would he ask the same things as Mion? If he's asking the same things, then the next question must be... On the same night of the festival, did you see Shion Sonozaki-san? Clatter, clatter, clatter. I wondered what that sound was, and when I looked down, I saw that it was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands. My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and forth. Realizing that, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crunched down on it. Sorry, I may have seen her, but, well, you know, she looks just like Mion. I might have just mistaken the two. No, ha ha ha! But that can't be. Suddenly, Oishi-san grabbed both my shoulders and hunched down to give me a level stare. This must be what it's like to be a deer in the headlights. I want to look away, but I can't. This is the first time I've experienced such a piercing stare. Mion-san and Shion-san wear completely different clothing. You wouldn't mistake the two so easily, I would think. Maibara-san. His voice was harsh. Harsh. The same as when Mion said it. Excuse me. Oh gosh. I'm starting to really get that tired feeling again. No, I hate when I get this. Alright. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. When I realized he could feel it through the hands on my shoulders, I got even more scared. Why? Why are Mion and Oishi-san both asking about last night? Was sneaking into that storehouse so bad? Ugh. I shouldn't have let Takano-san talk me into it. Tomitaki-san casually said to check it out too, so... Oh. Even Shion, if she hadn't encouraged me... No. I understood. I was the one most at fault here. I shouldn't have let my curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into the forbidden storehouse. Oishi-san, I think that's our cue to get out of here. The young man wearing a suit came into the lounge. From the way he held himself, I knew immediately that he was Oishi-san's subordinate. Oh, so it is. Closing time already. I hadn't realized it until he said something. A jingle and announcement telling patrons the library had closed had started playing without me realizing it. I was so irritated, so overwhelmed, that I couldn't even hear it. Well then, my Barakun, we're out of time, so allow me to take my leave. I'd like to talk with you more about this at your leisure, when we have more time. This isn't a joke. If I never saw him again, would it be too soon? Oishi-san followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around. Oh, right, my Bar-san. What is it? Those two questions I asked you before. You don't remember well enough to answer either of them, correct? Right. Just so you know, you saw them all yesterday. We were walking along, the four of you, having quite a pleasant time. Near the stone steps, I saw you with my own eyes. Caught my breath and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. What a detestable person. He knew. And he was testing me. We'll meet again. Have a good year. I sat there like a rock, unmoving, until I could hear no longer the clacking sounds of their footsteps. Closing time! I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I'd thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down, little by little, by indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. No. In fact, it might have been easier on me that way. What happened yesterday really was just my curiosity. It really was no more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements, hallowed ground only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure, I'd seen terrifying things that I'd never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored in any. I'm doing an amazing job of reading this line. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I committed any more right. What the four of us did, Mion seemed to know about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the four of us did. Did we do something so bad? Really? It doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. There's nothing more than that, and yet I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Mion or Oishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. Set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't ever do something like that again either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I apologize like that, would they forgive me? The suddenly cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, however, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home, go to my room, put on my favorite music or something, and go to bed. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Whew. Now that I've made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this. I sat back on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting, mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. My mom called me from downstairs. Keiichi, you have a call. It's from Sonozaki-san. Sonozaki? Is it Mion? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She'd had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi-san had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Hello. Ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and ran. Don't say that. Don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden, you left me there, and after that, I had to put up with that Oishi guy for ages. Don't complain to me about it. I can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like Mion, and yet inside, she's this different. I got a little irritated myself when I realized I was, somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mion, even though she's a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first. Shion laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized that she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. Yeah, I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be... Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice suddenly, as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So, that means you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid sounding question as evidence. However, her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing? Hello? Kei-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. What about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then, after that, we walked away together and then went our separate ways near the stone stairs, right? Takano-san and Tomitaki-san went to the stream, and you stay there, Kei-chan. I went over to see some relatives. Yeah. Why do you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions. So, let me ask this question first, okay? You mean they see Tomitaki-san and Takano-san last night? Huh? Oh, yes. Did you see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell is going on? Why? Why are you asking me that? No, Kei-chan. I'm asking the question. Please, answer me. Did you, Shion? If you answer first, then I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now, after everything that had happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me. Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me, and they can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mion, Reina, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else. Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay, then I'll tell you. Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Tomitaki-san died. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said? Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Tomitaki-san died. Takano-san was found burned to death. Tomitaki-san was, well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. Late last night, a police car on its way back from the festival security duty had discovered Tomitaki-san lying in the middle of the road, heading towards Okonomiya. He had clawed out his throat and died. What? He clawed out his own throat? That bright, cheerful Tomitaki-san committed suicide? That can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched at his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said. I've never heard of such an insane suicide. You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me. So I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my own room. Sorry for yelling. So, was Takano-san, was that a suicide too?
In her case, it's a little unclear.
Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to police late last night that they could see flames in the mountains. The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after, there was a request for a dental comparison from the XX Prefectural Police Station in Okinomiya, and the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, since she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area. The oil drum had fallen over, so it's also possible she burned herself to death. It couldn't have possibly been suicide. If you're going to die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't there? This can't be suicide.
That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tomitaki-san would kill himself too.
After the two of us riled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. And as we calmed our nerves, right then, I understood what Shion's story actually meant.
I think it will end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it, after all.
Deserve? You've got to be kidding. It's not like Shion wanted to see with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost to my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault and no one else's. Shion, last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way?
Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen.
Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me.
Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it for a moment. Didn't Oyashiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year?
It was already plenty strange, seeing as how Tomitaki-san and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger?
I mean that they found two corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, one person would die and one would disappear. This year is the first time two people have been found dead.
That may be true, but that's not a huge deal, is it?
It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen, if two people die because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, then in order to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger, two people would need to be sacrificed.
Is that how it works? So what? Tomitaki-san and Takano-san died. So now two people are going to go missing this year? I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze.
I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet. I think that those two people have yet to disappear.
Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. Two people have yet to disappear? Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart, cold hands feeling about on my chest. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitake-san opened the lock, and he died. Takano-san exposed the ritual storehouse, and she died. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, then it would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us. No. This has got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass us off as a joke, even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitake-san and Takano-san had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she burned to death, drowned in oil in the mountains. The 2 deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us, some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued, knowing I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspapers and television. Magazines, writers would flood the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story. Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it was in the past too. When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there were some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media. I hear the elders and top brass from the Sanazaki family put all the pressure they could on the police. You mean their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy? That's how it is. Of course, the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too, though, so I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with the police investigation. This story was unbelievable. People died, and yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of Watanagashi, it won't go public. That's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard. Kei-chan, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's what I mean. At some point, a tradition was created here in Hinamizawa, where every year, you're allowed to kill someone on the night of Watanagashi, under the guise of it being Oyashiro-sama's curse. When someone dies on the night of Watanagashi, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into serial murder incidents. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane! Dead and missing people turn up every year. However bad the stigma gets, the police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they? You could say the incidents happening every year is mysterious, but police can get the job done when they need to. After all, the incidents always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know? Just so happens that something unfortunate happens on the night of Watanagashi every year. That's all it turns into. Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in essence, resolved. The dam supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accidental death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations into the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy. It concluded that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dam supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Yashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while in prison, so this incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So then, why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of Watanagashi? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Yet, every year, someone always dies and someone always disappears. The story Takano-san told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off. Then, does that mean it'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one disappears every year. Are you saying we'll be taken along with Tomitake-san and Takano-san in a race too? My lips had, at some point, become completely dry. And just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sure, we went somewhere we shouldn't have. But we were just looking, right? We didn't steal or anything or take anything out, and we didn't tell anyone that we looked, right? I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomitake-san and Takano-san deserved such cruel deaths? Besides, I didn't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano-san was the only one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? Takano-san was the only one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not interested. I'm not involved. I don't give a shit about what was in there. I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self, in the innermost depth of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore. I didn't have any interest in any of this from the start, damn it. All I wanted to do was watch Rika-chan's performance. You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you, Shion? I don't give a rat's ass whether those two were trying to steal something or meet up secretly or whatever. That's right. You're the one who made me go in there in the first place, Shion. You were all, Kei-chan, you need to see what's inside. And you convinced me and then pulled me in. Why the hell did you do that? I didn't have anything to do with this. What will you do? What are you going to do, damn it? How are you going to take responsibility for this? Huh? Hey, are you listening? Ah! Click. Without any warning, the phone cut off with the soft sound of a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Hello, this is my borough. I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment. Is this the Maibara residence? Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? It was the voice of a middle-aged man. All my hopes rushed out of me. No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. I went to put the receiver back down, but the man stopped me hurriedly. Oh, no. If he's busy, then it's fine. This may be a strange question, but is my old man paying you a visit? No, nobody's here at the moment. I see. Again, I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye. Clack. I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was talking to him? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maibara. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, though, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation and didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi Maibara. If Shion does call again, first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Alright. I think I might actually call it an early stream today. From the Scrapbook 6 and 7 and Late Night Phone Call. So we are officially going to save. Yes. Oh man, that was honestly... Dude, this story is getting pretty nuts, honestly. Oh. There's a lot going on compared to the first one. First one definitely felt like more cut and dry about stuff, so. Alright, so why don't we do this? I see one person on that's... Yep, so we're gonna go and raid Plopsy, I think, because she's doing a charity stream. And she's like one of the few people that are on my list. Before we get ready for that though, thank you guys so much, everybody that was here watching, chatting, lurking. I appreciate all the support from you guys. I hope you know, whatever you could stomach from this read session, I hope you enjoy these read-throughs, basically. If you want to join my Discord, link is there. I host events exclusive to the server on Saturdays. So tomorrow we have our karaoke night. We alternate that with a bad movie night and community game night. Even if you don't want to sing, you're welcome to join in the fun and festivities. Other than that, I will be back on Monday around noontime Eastern. Otherwise, we're going to go raid Plopsy. And yep, looks like she had just started. So, so again, it's for the Trevor Project. She's doing the charity stream for. So, make sure you go show your love and support. If you can, you can always try to support the charity as well. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day today. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys back on Monday around noon time Eastern. Have a great one, guys. Peace.